Have you ever watched your own idea come back to you wearing a coworker's name tag? Tunny? You say it in the meeting, it lands politely, 3 people nod, then 12 minutes later Brad says the same thing with the confidence of a man unveiling electricity, and suddenly everyone loves it. Your boss leans forward. That's smart, Brad. Brad does the tiny humble smile. You do the tiny workplace smile that means, interesting, I appear to have died without noticing. And here is the trap, correct the room, and you worry you will look petty. Stay quiet, and your contribution walks out wearing somebody else's name. Most people choose quiet, then spend the elevator ride building a courtroom argument for a trial that will never happen. But here is the part most people miss. Credit theft is rarely one dramatic act. It is usually a chain of small, boring mechanisms. An idea enters without a clear owner. Someone more visible repeats it when the room is ready. The group remembers the cleanest version, not the first one. By the end of the meeting, the story has quietly rewritten itself. That is how someone can keep doing senior-level thinking while slowly building a junior reputation. Work is not rewarded only by quality. It is rewarded by visible association with quality. Once you see the mechanism, you can stop it without confronting anyone, sounding territorial, or turning the office into a custody battle over a PowerPoint slide. I will show you the signals that make an idea easy to overwrite and the exact moves that keep your name attached before, during, and after the meeting. Tunifin 4. First, let us remove the most comforting explanation. It is not always because the other person is evil. Sometimes it is deliberate. They know exactly where the idea came from, and they are betting that you care more about seeming agreeable than they care about seeming honest. But often the theft is softer than that. They heard an idea, improved one sentence, repeated it at the moment the room was ready, and their brain quietly promoted them from messenger to inventor. Tunny? Groups are terrible historians. They remember the person who made the idea feel usable, the clear sentence, the confident voice, the person standing near the decision. Origin gets replaced by delivery. Tunny? This is why saying "but I said that first" feels emotionally true and strategically weak. The room is not running a transcript search. It is building a story about who understands the problem and who can move the group forward. Credit is not just authorship. Credit is association. And association is shaped by 4 things: visibility, framing, timing, and social reinforcement. Visibility is simple. If your idea lives only in a sentence spoken once, it is fragile. A sentence disappears. A document persists. Framing means giving the idea a memorable shape. Maybe we should change onboarding is missed. I propose a 3-step onboarding reset. 1 owner, 1 checklist, 1 30-day review, has edges. Edges carry fingerprints. Timing means connecting yourself to the idea before the room reaches consensus. If you wait until everyone agrees, claiming it afterward sounds like a correction. If you establish ownership while the idea is still forming, it sounds like leadership. And social reinforcement means other people connect your name to the contribution. One colleague saying, building on Maya's framework, can do more for ownership than Maya delivering a closing argument about intellectual property. The people who lose credit most often are not necessarily the quietest. They are the least traceable. They soften every sentence. This might be stupid, but they give away the frame. We were sort of thinking. They describe the idea as a vague possibility, then someone else repeats it as a decision. Dituon. They also confuse generosity with anonymity. Sharing credit is good. Erasing yourself is not teamwork. You can say, Jordan's customer data helped me shape this proposal, without pretending the proposal materialized in the break room overnight. And then there is the biggest signal, no follow-through. You introduce an idea and wait for somebody else to carry it. The person who volunteers to summarize it, schedule the next step, or own the document becomes attached to it. Action glues names to ideas. Tunny? So here is the calm system. Before, during, and after. Before the meeting, create a timestamp and a frame. Send the 1-page note. Put the proposal in the agenda. Message the decision maker. I want to walk the group through a 3-step fix for onboarding tomorrow. Not a novel, not a manifesto, a visible seed with your name on it. This is not defensive paperwork. It is making the work easier to understand. Conveniently, it also makes the origin impossible to misremember. Tunning? Second, pre-wire one ally. Tell a trusted colleague the idea before the meeting and ask for a real reaction. Not "please defend my honor," just "I am proposing this tomorrow. What am I missing?" Now the idea exists in another person's memory with your name attached, and the feedback usually makes it better. Tunning? During the meeting, stop donating your opening sentence. Do not say, "Maybe this is nothing." Say, "I have a proposal." Do not say, "We could possibly." Say, "The approach I recommend has 3 parts. Calm ownership is not arrogance, it is labeling." Then give the idea a handle, a short name, a 3-part structure, a simple contrast. People repeat handles, and when they repeat yours, they are more likely to remember where it came from. Now Brad repeats it. Do not pounce. Do not sigh so loudly that facilities checks the ventilation. Bridge back in. Say yes, that is the direction I was proposing. The part one would add is the 30-day review. Or, exactly. Building on the 3-step model I outlined, here is how we could implement it. Tunny thing. That sentence does 3 jobs. It agrees with the useful part, reconnects the idea to you, and advances the discussion. You are not asking the room to punish Brad. You are making yourself the person who owns the next level of detail. If the repeat is blatant, use a slightly firmer version. I am glad that proposal is resonating. Let me finish walking through the framework, and then I would like your input on rollout. Tunny thing. No accusation. No courtroom. Just sequence restored. Ting? If your boss gives the other person credit directly, correct the record with warmth. I am glad it landed. I developed that recommendation from last month's customer interviews, and Brad's point about rollout is a useful addition. Tunning? Notice the order. Your ownership is a fact. Their contribution is acknowledged. You are not shrinking them to make yourself visible. Tunning? After the meeting, send the recap quickly. Thanks everyone. I will own the 3-step onboarding proposal we discussed. Attached is the draft I shared, updated with Brad's rollout note. Next steps are below. That is documentation, attribution, and leadership in 4 lines. If the pattern keeps happening, move from meeting tactics to a private conversation. Stay specific. Twice this month, ideas I introduced were later presented without my name attached. I want us to collaborate well, and I also need my contributions represented accurately. When you build on something I bring in, please reference it directly. I will do the same for you. Do not argue about their personality. Discuss observable behavior in the future rule. If it continues after that, take the pattern to your manager with evidence and a request, not a character indictment. Here are 3 proposals I documented and led. In the meetings, ownership became unclear. I want your advice on making responsibilities and attribution explicit going forward. You are not asking the manager to decide who is morally pure. You are asking for clearer operating structure. There are also 3 things not to do. Do not wait 6 months and unload every grievance at once. Old resentment sounds less credible than fresh specifics. Do not copy half the company on a correction email. Public humiliation creates a second problem and gives everyone a reason to discuss your tone instead of the missing credit. And do not become so guarded that you stop sharing ideas. The goal is not to hide your thinking until it is legally notarized. The goal is to make contribution and ownership travel together. The deeper reframe is this: visibility is part of the work. Many competent people were taught that good work speaks for itself. Good work does speak. Unfortunately, it often has the voice of whoever is standing closest to the microphone. Making your contribution traceable is not vanity. Documentation helps decisions. Clear framing helps teams. Recaps prevent confusion. Owning follow-through gets things done. The same behaviors that protect credit also make you easier to trust with larger work. So next time your idea comes back wearing Brad's name tag, do not chase it down the hallway yelling about justice. Reconnect calmly. Yes, that is the direction I proposed. Here is the next step. Then own the document, the recap, and the implementation. Before the next meeting, plant the visible seed. During it, label the frame. After it, close the loop. And when someone contributes, credit them clearly, because the fastest way to create an attribution culture is to model one where people can hear it. If this explained a workplace moment you are still replaying, hit like. Subscribe, because every week we take one of these quiet office disasters apart. And in the comments, tell me the most creative way someone has ever repackaged your idea. Changed the names. Human resources has suffered enough. Tunning, your ideas do not need a bodyguard. They need a paper trail, a clear sentence, and your name still attached when the room decides they matter.